fly against the sky.
Well, I wrote the title track first, Harakiri, and I wrote that in January of 2011. If you remember, we were all dealing with the massive deaths of bird and fish around the planet, all over the planet, and it was a very unique phenomenon. And there was no integral scientific explanation for what was going on. There still isn't, and it's still happening. 40,000 sturgeon died 2 months ago in the Midwest. 500 penguins washed up in Brazil a month ago. It's still happening until today. There's all these massive death of birds. And so the title track, I was influenced by that, and I just wrote the title track. And then the rest of the songs just started coming to me. And they all have to do with the upheaval of the world that we're living in right now. Harakiri is a Japanese word that signifies suicide, obviously. Very ritualistic and respectful suicide. And it's also a symbolism for me of humanity's unconscious suicide on the planet. I think that through system and through my own, career as an artist, I've been able to expound the kind of details and awareness about the Armenian genocide, especially in the U.S., where, in France, most people already know, but U.S., most people didn't or, don't know it. The aim is to get, obviously, the perpetrators, the descendants of the perpetrators, which is the modern Turkish Republic, to recognize its own history correctly. It's a struggle for Turkish academicians as well, because they are put in jail. And journalists that talk about the genocide, journalists that talk about the Kurdish issue, or more reform-minded people that want more democracy in Turkey are put in jail today. I think there needs to be a very strong change in the leadership in Turkey to signify a more modern, progressive attitude and democratic attitude toward their own history and people, and also to come to grips with the Armenian genocide.
I believe that they are free when their time was done.
It's hard to play some of the tracks from Imperfect Harmonies without a good string section and a good brass section, because the record itself was written around an orchestra. And if you remember 2 years ago when we did a tour in Europe with the F.C.C, we had 8 extra string players with us at every show. And that was really useful because at least we were able to play some of the Imperfect Harmony songs. With Harakiri coming out, being a more straight out kind of a punk rock tinged record, we wanted to kind of just go back to just playing the rock elements of the songs. So that's why it's kind of more the first record and the last record. My feeling about the U.S. elections have a lot to do with my feelings about U.S. politics. U.S. politics need a huge overhaul. There's too much money in U.S. electoral system. K Street lobbying firms are hired by corporations, foreign governments to represent their interests, in a lot of times against the interests of the public in our Congress, in our Parliament. That needs to change. There's also a recent decision 2 years ago from the Supreme Court of the U.S. to allow, called Citizens United, to allow corporations legal status almost as human beings. So now corporations can donate as much money as they want to any candidate running for office. That becomes incredible. It becomes crazy because you've got people with hundreds of millions of dollars with their own agendas wanting to pay a candidate to become president. That's not a democracy. We don't have enough voices. We don't have enough political parties in America that have any power. 2 parties is a duopoly. It's not a democracy. Even the Soviet Union had 2 sides of one party, really. Even China has 2 sides of one party. We need a strong Green Party. We need a strong party that represents the people, environmental concerns, justice concerns, egalitarian concerns, to be that small party that helps another party gain majority so it becomes important in the political process. America needs that desperately. We don't have it right now. So as far as the current elections, you can't even think of Romney becoming president because he represents the most elitist concerns at a time like now with the Occupy movement, the Euro crisis and stuff, where people need their voice heard, not the voice of the
Let's
rich.
figure it out. No bullshit. Let's figure it out. No bullshit. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out.
We have a lot of footage from 12, 13 years, you know, from the beginning of the band until the last shows that we've been doing now. So we have all this footage, so we want to put together a very special kind of, 20th anniversary DVD box something set with unreleased tracks and do something cool like that. So we're starting to work on that. I'm not exactly sure what form it's going to take. We have to decide that.